Hey everyone, it's Brian from distillationsbl, and for this video and for the next videos I'll be doing, I'm going to be going back through some of my old posts on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I share excerpts and quotes of some of the things that have been most meaningful to me or things that I'm learning and that I think capture the essence of whoever it is that I'm reading at the time or whatever book it happens to be. And so I want to start with an author, Douglas Rushkoff. He is a media theorist. He's got several books, lots of great books, talking about the nature of the information age, the computer age, whatever you want to call it. But this moment that we are in and have been in, he was really active in the early internet, the communities that were born right when the internet first came online. And so he's got a very good view of how it all began. And that was a lot of things that I was unaware of because I was too young to be involved in the internet at that stage from its inception. So there's all sorts of philosophies or worldviews that were born out of the community of people who were active right there. So his perspective is fascinating. And so let me jump right into it. Let's go here. So the book is called Get Back in the Box: How Being Great at What You Do is Great for Business by Douglas Rushkoff. Let me show you. So that's the book. And here is the first excerpt that I shared. This is all talking about his idea of the new Renaissance person. And that's something that I really identified with. It's actually something that I aspire to model. It's something that I hadn't considered before, and the way that he articulated it inspired me to want to emulate it and become it to the best of my ability. So this will also do a lot of setting the stage for what distillations is, what I hope it becomes. And okay, back to it. This first few quotes will be sort of setting the stage for what I find to be truly impactful. So I'll kind of run through this a little more quickly, and then we'll get to sort of the meat and potatoes. Quote: But just as Freud's model of the individual within the individual gave way to his student Carl Jung's idea of a collective unconscious, linking us all just beneath the surface, the every man for himself ethic of the consumer is giving way to a desire for community and connectedness. Just as the successful business learns how to provide social currency through which customers can interact, the successful person, the new Renaissance person, defines himself not by his abilities, worth, or possessions, but by his connections to others. Like the walled cities of the Renaissance and before, self has always been defined by a person's boundaries, the edges of the body or the limits on one's capabilities. Our new Renaissance allows us to see these same boundaries instead as points of contact. A person, a new Renaissance person, is not the sum total of the abilities he contains, but the totality of his connections. Just as websites succeed not by their own strength, but by the strength of their links, a person's abilities are extended to include those of all the people he can access. As internet enthusiasts like to say, the power of a network is not the nodes, it's the connections. You are your address book. So I think you could probably see how this is connecting to the internet and social media and how we very much are defined by our connections these days. And to contrast that to the sort of ethic of every man for himself, the capitalist consumer, an individual, an individualist society, what the internet and these technologies of connection are opening the door to is a new sort of community, or maybe making it very evident that the every man for himself individualist is seeking community because that prior ethic has come to be lacking in some way. And so now we have these technologies that could allow for community to build. And the power of any individual isn't exactly every man for himself. It could be that the power of the new Renaissance person is his connections, or in my idea of this, it would be who I've read, the ideas and concepts and philosophies that I have been exposed to and been learning, and am still very much an amateur, a novice in this whole world, but there may be value to sharing my address book. So Distillations is here's my address book, my philosophy address book, my history of ideas address book. Here are these people who have impacted me in this certain way, and that there might be strength in sharing that kind of connection, those connections. Quote, this doesn't mean a person can't do anything himself. Each of his connections must go two ways. The tremendous access a new Renaissance person has to the abilities of others is dependent on their ability to access his. And that's really where the light bulb went off for me. And I have this tremendous access to the abilities of all these incredible minds. And what good is that? Should I just fill up my own head and just be here, sitting here, isolated, insulated, and thinking that I'm piecing things together totally on my own? Or is there some kind of reciprocity that is called for in this moment, where it's not just that I'm filling up my head here, it's that the reason that I have access to the abilities of others is because they decided to put their ideas out there into the world. And so, as a new Renaissance person, this relationship is only possible because it's also dependent on others' ability to access what's in my head. And so, what I'm putting out there is the stuff that I've received. It's this reciprocal nature of things coming in and things going out. And what I think could be valuable to see of others is their curation, is their address book of ideas or things that have been impactful, meaningful, valuable to their lives. Like a file sharing program through which people can download files from one another's hard drives, the more files anyone has, the more files everyone has. I think that's really cool. If I put these things out, it's just adding to the sum total of what humans have been producing, the fruits of the best of humanity. And so the more files that I have access to, again, puts an onus on me to share the files that I have, the idea files that I have or have consumed, because then that's the more files that everyone has. That's the idea, at least. Quote, the competitive paradox vanishes. The more people who get it, the better. Perhaps that more capitalistic, consumerist, every man for himself ethos, which is a competitive ethos, might be dissolved here if more people engaged with this other way of operating, the more people who get it, the better. The more people sharing their files adds to the sum total of all files that any one individual can access, and that it's a non-zero sum game. It benefits both sides. Now, can a competitive element to the world vanish completely? I mean, maybe that's too idealistic coming from Rushkoff. I don't know. Guess we'll see. I'll keep going here. Quote, just as it's useless to be the only person with a fax machine, it's pointless to be the only Renaissance person in town. The more Renaissance people we can create, the better. And again, that's that same through line that I was just talking about. And I guess I was inspired by this because, okay, this sounds good. This makes sense to me. It's pointless to be the only Renaissance person in town. I might as well join, Rushkoff here in this sense and share what I can. My address book of ideas. This is when it started to really click for me. So let's keep going. Quote, the new Renaissance person is a specialist, but not necessarily in the categories or disciplines predetermined by the job market or the universities he's attended. He's a specialist in the path of exploration that has excited him most and given him the greatest opportunity to provide something meaningful to others. It's the path. It's the curative path of nodes of other people's work that one consumes. And why does this thing speak to you rather than that other thing? What has been learned that is valuable? And it's the path itself. It's the contours of that path that could be the thing that is meaningful to others, something to share, is the path itself. And it's not necessarily the degrees or the job market, the disciplines predetermined by the job market, etc. Quote, he can be a generalist too, but to a new Renaissance person, even this becomes a core competence. The generalist crosses disciplines and areas of expertise in order to draw connections between them. So that's another advantage, is to be able to go on this journey, start this path, and if that path crosses boundaries, it's not predetermined by the job market or the universities, to go on this path of exploration and share those files, so to speak, is an ability to cross boundaries and get perhaps a gestalt view of what's going on, and then make connections between things that were siloed in the past. Quote, the new Renaissance person is not motivated by competition, gain, or even the desire for achievement, but by a quest for deep, playful inquiry and a desire to bring this Renaissance sensibility to others. Off the bat, this sounds very idealistic, and I'm not going to claim that I'm a purist here and operating purely out of or not being motivated at all by competition gain or desire for achievement. Maybe I think that to a certain degree. I mean, so far it seems like what I've been doing is deep playful inquiry, and wanting to share that deep playful inquiry. That rings true to me, but I'm just gonna put it out there that I can't be certain that that's all that's going on here. But I think that insofar as we can encourage more playful inquiry, deep playful inquiry, and sharing that sort of ethos, and maybe just not being as concerned about competition gain, desire for achievement, a bit more of that, I think could go a long way. So you can see here that this is what I've been attempting to do, is to share these things on this page. This is my address book of thinkers and people that I've consumed their work and it has resonated in some way. This is the path. This is the meandering path here. This is the playful inquiry, definitely more playful in some parts than other parts, you know, trying to not take myself too seriously, that sort of stuff. But this is what I'm trying to do. The New Renaissance Person playbook, the call to action given out by Douglas Rushkoff, was something that I thought sounded very cool, and maybe it was a younger me, a younger man's vision that was really inspired by this. Maybe the harsh realities of needing, to survive in the world maybe has me thinking a little bit differently about a more purist view of no competition or a compensation coming from the fruits of the labor. It can't all be a labor of love. At a certain point, you're going to smack into reality. Definitely is a concern. But yeah, I think this is a good place to start doing some of these videos. It's definitely been a guiding principle, a guiding something that I'm emulating to the best of my ability with this page. So there will be more to come. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll be doing another video soon. Please like, share, subscribe. Again, the reality comes crashing down. I'm gonna have to ask if you enjoyed this for those sorts of things. Till next time, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and that's all I got. Thanks.